All right, welcome to Hoops Tracker. Jerry Howard, your host. It is playoff time. Man, we are so excited. 5A, 6A hitting the playoffs. 4A got one more week. 1A through 4A has one more week. Remember, Jerry Howard, your host. Hoops Tracker is your source for Colorado basketball. Let's dive in to see what we've got in store. Remember, you can catch all your playoff coverage here on Hoops Tracker. We've got the Prep Riders edition. We're going to review last week's games. Huge shout out. Sienna Betts, 10 rebounds away from breaking a record that's over 50 years old on the boys' side. She will be the all time rebounder for boys and girls. Huge shout out to her. She'll do it probably on Friday night. Um, Man, what a great accomplishment. It's been great. 1,000 Point Club. Hey, Anthony Nettles just got the 1,000 Point Club. Jet Wells from Fruita Monument, Brody Shepard from Yuma, and even Kyan Quinn from Denver Waldorf. Congratulations to them. Also, big shout out to Coach Jarris at Eagle Crest, got his 200th career win on Saturday when they won the Centennial League Championship. 1,500 Point Club. We've got Ethan Berninger and Tanner Burketta, but Cole Schur just went over 1,900 points. He's 100 points away from breaking 2,000. We're going to be tracking that. Congratulations to Cole and everybody else. Last week's games. The Denver City League tournament started. Great games last week. Mesa Ridge goes down to the wire with Evergreen, but pulls out a win. 22 wins in a row for Mesa Ridge. Count them, 22. Defending state two-time title champions. And man, they're 22-1 going into the playoffs. Windsor beats Rocky Mountain. Horizon beats Longmont. Big shout out to Noah Sokolowski from Longmont, 21 points in that game. Not only in that game, but on Friday night, they beat Erie. He had the game winning shot with 5 seconds to go. Um, Man, what a great game. They beat Erie 51-50. They got one of the top, they won the Granite League. They got the top seed. They got one of the top seeds and we'll talk more about that. Ralston Valley goes to Mountain Vista and loses. Later in the week, Ralston Valley comes back and they win against A West going into the playoffs. Man, they've had a tough run at it. Broomfield beats Meade. Kent Denver puts it on peak to peak. Um, Wednesday, a big matchup. Stanley Lake rolls on Golden. Golden has 3 losses in a row. Playing against Stanley Lake, Dakota Ridge, and Green Mountain. Now, Green Mountain is starting to put it together. They're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak going into the playoffs. Um, Eagle Crest beats Overland in overtime again, almost the identical score as last time. Same situation. Overland had them. Eagle Crest came back to win. Smoky beats Grandview for the state to go into the Centennial League Championship. Forge gets crushed by Kent Denver. Kent Denver wins the Metro League outright. Jefferson Academy gets beat by Peak to Peak. Peak to Peak is really primed to make a run at that 4A state title. Windsor, Loveland beats Windsor on Thursday, which was a big surprise. Really, really shocked at this, but Loveland is really peaking at the right time. And then Vanguard beats Salida. As we go into the big games, Mountain Vista, I'm sorry, Mountain Vista beats Chaparral 82-72. Mountain Vista ends up winning the Continental League Championship. Um, Chaparral still gets the top seed. And we already talked about Erie Horizon. Mesa Ridge wins over Falcon. Broomfield over Fairview. And Fruita wins. This is, I think, their third or fourth year in a row. They've won that Southwest Western Slope title. Legacy beats Boulder. Fruta beats Durango. Eagle Crest, big come from behind victory over Smoky Hill. And wow, what a great way to end the regular season for 5A and 6A. Here are your league champs, right? So Centennial League won the Jeffco or the Eagle Crest won the Centennial League. Ralston Valley won the Jeffco League. Mountain Vista won the Continental League. Horizon wins the Granite Peaks League. Rangeview, undefeated, wins the City League. Fossil Ridge wins up north. Doherty wins the Springs Metro League. Fruta wins the Western Slope. And Rocky Mountain League is won by Boulder. Now, that's a new league. And then at 5A, Lutheran wins the Pikes Peak League. Mesa Ridge, we'll talk about rankings and stuff like that here in a sec. Mesa Ridge wins the South League. Dakota Ridge wins the Jeffco League. Severance, Long Peaks up north. You got Eagle Valley, Glenwood Springs tied for the Western Slope League. I think Eagle Valley won that one. Pueblo East wins South Central. Windsor drops down from a 5A, 6A league. In the Northern, Meade drops down from the Granite. Mullen drops down from the Centennial League. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then Gateway, crazy finish. Gateway wins their last two games of the season. They beat a team that they hadn't beaten yet this season. They get in the championship and they go into overtime and they beat Thornton at Thornton to take the Colorado League. Congratulations. Hats off to Nicholas Dixon. All right, it's playoff time. Let's dive in. We're going to talk 6A first. Here are the playing games. Lots of great games on the first night. You've got Cherokee Trail at Erie. That's going to be a really good game. You got Castleview at Grandview. Now, Grandview finished fourth in the league, and we'll see how everything turns out for them. You got Columbine going to East. You got Creek going to Legend. Now, these two teams played earlier in the season. Cherry Creek won that head-to-head matchup. However, Legend was without Carson Flowers and a few other key starters and football players. I'm not sure Cherry Creek's got the strength to get there, but you never know with Jeremiah Hammond. You got Dylan Betts and company. Rocky Mountains at Heritage, Vista Peak at Legacy. This is going to be another really good game. The City League and the Centennial League, they're going to make their imprint, I think. You got Pine Creek traveling up to Loveland. You got Pueblo West at Boulder. We'll see how that goes. Now, on the boys' side, Rangeview gets the #1 seed. Eagle Crest gets the 2 seed. We'll go down and take a look at these matchups. So the playing games, let's see. Winner of game 1, Erie Cherokee Trail gets to meet up with Rangeview. I think Rangeview will easily win that game and go to the Sweet 16. Now, George Washington plays Fairview. This is going to be a good game. This will be a tight game. It'll be interesting to see who's going to play Rangeview. And I think whoever does play Rangeview, if George Washington plays Rangeview, it's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. But I think Rangeview maybe wins that bracket and gets to the grade 8. That's our first prediction. Horizon at #8. All right, you got a great game down here. You got Monarch going to Regis, Coach DeBerry going to Coach Shaw. I think this will be a good game, but I think Regis has a little too much firepower for Monarch, but you never know. Now, what's going to happen here? Region wins, Horizon wins. I'm not so sure how this game is going to go. This will be one of the tight games. I think I'm going to tip my hat towards Regis just because they've got Eric Fiedler, Lucas Dickinson. They've got Rump. This team is loaded and tested through the Continental League, but we'll see. They haven't been playing very well, so this is going to be a great game next Tuesday. You got Valor. I'm pretty confident Valor is going to win and get to the Sweet 16. Arapahoe Doherty. This is going to be an interesting game. Arapahoe, they play really well. They've got Ryan Pranker, they've got Miles. Doherty, I'm not quite sure has the size, but we're going to see. This will be a great game. Winner plays Valor. I'm not quite sure if they will be able to get past Valor. And so our next prediction is Valor gets to the Elite Eight. Ralston Valley, they finally put together a win. They had lost earlier in the week last week to Mountain Vista. Um, but they get a first round. They should easily win that first game. And then they're going to pick up Denver South or Fossil Ridge. This game is going to be a great game. And this game is a very dangerous game. This game, as we're looking at this, Denver South, Fossil Ridge, both teams loaded, both teams have shooters. They both match up really well in the paint. That is going to be a good game. This one's a toss-up, but we'll see because if Ralston Valley, that's a tough game for them. We'll see how they can, if they can pull that one out. Eagle Crest, number 2 seed, undefeated in state. They've had some close calls with Overland, but Arvada West, Northfield, this is also going to be a good game. This Arvada West team is pumping on all cylinders. Northfield as well. I heard there's a player coming back for Northfield from an injury, but I'm not quite sure either one of those teams will be able to get by Eagle Crest. So we're banking on Eagle Crest making it to the Elite Eight. Let's take a look at Fruit of Liberty. Man, you got Daniel Thomason and Jet Wells pumping on all cylinders. Liberty has to travel out there 4 hours over the mountain to get out there. And they've got Cam Cunningham and London Prater, and they've got some small, younger players. We'll see if they can pull it off, but playing at Fruta, that first round, having to travel out there, that is a tough one. Now, if Fruta or Liberty wins and they get here to this Thunder Ridge game, I'm going to lean towards Fruta that's going to do that. This is going to be a great matchup also. Mountain Vista gets the 6th seed. They're going to play the winner of the Overland Broomfield game. This is going to be a tough game. This one right here in the first round of 32, Broomfield going against Overland. Now, last year, Broomfield went into Overland and beat them at their place. Man, with the athleticism, with how Overland's playing right now, this is going to be a tough game for Broomfield. I might have to tip my hat towards the Centennial League. And then Overland playing Mountain Vista. That is a dangerous game. This Overland team, man, they are tough. So we'll actually see how that all turns out. They finished 3rd in the league, in the Centennial League, which is a brutal gauntlet. And we'll see. Now, Shap, who just lost on Friday night to Mountain Vista, still got the 3 seed, but whoever they're going to play, I think they'll get by. But the winner of this Smoky Hill Rock Canyon game, man, this Smoky Hill team's playing hot. They go and play Shap. Whew. This is going to be probably one of the biggest games you're going to see. We'll see. It's going to be great. A little too close for us to call. Home field court with Shap. Crosstown. I mean, you going from Aurora over to Parker. Man, this game is going to be packed. It's going to be loaded. Man, whew, that's going to be a tough one. All right, let's jump down to 5A. Now, some very interesting games going on at 5A and the play-in matchups. You got Pueblo South at Golden. They played before together, and I think Golden won by 1 point. So this is a really close game. You got Gateway. Congratulations to Nick Dixon. Won their league, so they got the 40th spot. They get to go to Sand Creek. You got Mountain View Ponderosa. You got Wheat Ridge at Thornton. This will be interesting because this Thornton team, they've got some good players. they might be someone to watch. This game right here, Mullen at 26. Now, Mullen finished, I believe, 8th in the Centennial League, but they get to drop down to 5A. Man, this Mullen team can be dangerous, and I think they might make a run. Um, we're going to see how that goes. And you got Thompson Valley, Silver Creek. That'll be a good game. Now, what's interesting, Lutheran gets the number 1 seed. Now, defending state champion Mesa Ridge is 22-1. They're on a 22 game winning streak. Lutheran, they've had some hiccups this season. Not quite sure how they got that 1 seed, but there it is. But Green Mountain Frederick, this is going to be a good game. They are going to definitely go after it. Uh, uh, Man, this is going to be a tough one to call, but Green Mountain was one of our early season picks for top 5, and I think they're on a 5 game winning streak. They're going to be at home, slight edge, but if they win this matchup against Lutheran, that's going to be a good game. That Green Mountain might sneak up on Lutheran. We'll see how that goes. Severance, they went up in the Northern League. You got Cheyenne Mountain Palisade coming in. Severance, who moved up from 4A last year, they are primed to make a run at state. You got this Discovery Canyon team that's playing well. You got Eagle Valley Falcon. This Falcon team is tough. If you guys listen to our Prep Writers show, we do a full-blown coverage of all of the breakdown of the playoffs. Now, Montrose, they came in second in the Southwestern League, that Western Slope League, and they beat Durango twice. We'll see if Rampart or Durango, who they're going to meet here in the Sweet 16. Now, Mesa Ridge, number 2 seed, they're going to be playing either the winner of Thomas Jefferson, Palmer Ridge. This Mesa Ridge team, 2-time state defending champs, 22 game winning streak. They are crushing it and hitting on all cylinders. Now, Meade Lewis Palmer, this is going to be a good game. They played earlier in the season, but this Lewis Palmer team has gotten a whole lot better. They beat Lutheran, the number 1 seed, a week or 2 ago. They're going to come up to Meade. Meade better be ready. But the winner of this game, this Stanley Lake, if Stanley Lake plays Meade or Stanley Lake plays Lewis Palmer, that's going to be a really good game. Now, let's take a look at, oh yeah, Stanley Lake here will probably get, remember I was talking about Mullen up above at the playing game? Stanley Lake gets Mullen. That game is going to be an incredible game. I think Mullen might have a little bit too much power for Stanley Lake, but we'll see. You got Meade, you got Windsor, who one of the top teams up north, had a couple of late losses, but this team is prime. They played in the championship game last year. They just came up short, led by Madden Smiley. This team is primed to make a run, but look who's down here. You got Longmont and Grand Junction. Now, this Longmont team had some early season injuries. They've gotten players back, and Coach Kloster has got them on a win streak. If they win this game, which I think they will, and they meet up with Windsor, man, this is going to be a big game. And then you got Dakota Ridge at 3. They are ready to make a run. But this first round matchup between Palmer and Evergreen, this is going to be a great game. Palmer led by Jatwain Mike, hitting on all cylinders. They had a player go down earlier this season, but Palmer was one of our top 5 teams, and this Palmer-Dakota Ridge matchup, that's going to be big. So those are the playoffs. That's what we've got. 4A still got one more week, and then they're going to go and into their 32 game week next weekend. All those teams will be selected. So we're on the lookout. It's going to be interesting. So let's take a quick glance here, and we've already talked about what's going on. Here's our rankings, and this is our end of the season rankings. And I think, as we talked about, who's going to be in that Elite 8, given that bracket, And man, I think Mountain Vista's got a tough ride. I think Horizon's got a tough ride. Um, we're going to see. We are definitely going to see how that goes. Here's our playoff coverage. Remember, Hoops Tracker is your source for Colorado basketball and playoffs. And check out our prep riders table, round table. We talk and break down the playoffs. We go pretty extensive. There's some interesting predictions, but we're looking forward to it. Make sure you guys watch this because this is going to be big. All right. Well, that's it for this week. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to seeing who some of those Sweet 16 matchups are going to be. And after the first week of play, good luck to everybody. Be safe, travel. And remember, Hoops Tracker is your source for Colorado basketball and your source and your insider source for what's going on in the playoffs. Have a great day, everyone.